Mark chapter 4 verses 35 to 41. A great prophet has risen in our midst, God has visited his people. On that day, as evening drew on, Jesus said to his disciples, "Let us cross to the other side." Leaving the crowd, they took Jesus with them in the boat just as he was. And boats were with him. A violent squall came up and waves were breaking over the boat, so that it was already filling up. Jesus was in the stern, asleep on a cushion. They woke him and said to him, "Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing?" He woke up, rebuked the wind, and said to the sea, "Quiet. Be still." The wind ceased and there was great calm. Then he asked them, "Why are you terrified? Do you not yet have faith?" They were filled with great awe and said to one another, "Who then is this whom even wind and sea obey?" Josephus, an ancient Jewish historian, wrote that there were usually more than 300 fishing boats on the Sea of Galilee at any one time. It was probably Peter's boat. Peter knew the area well and was accustomed to fishing at night. The Sea of Galilee is an unusual body of water. It is relatively small, 13 miles long, 7 miles wide, it is 150 feet deep, and the shoreline is 680 feet below sea level. Because the Sea of Galilee is below sea level and is surrounded by mountains, it is at risk of sudden storms. Winds sweeping across the land come up and over the mountains, creating downdrafts over the lake. Combined with a sudden thunderstorm, the sea has been known to swell to 20-foot waves. Fishermen usually didn't encounter storms at night, and didn't see this one coming either. This Sunday is about the storms that come into our lives and the lives of others. It is a Sunday that reacquaints us with the reasons, and the need to pray. We started with verses from the book of Job 38 verses 8 to 11. Job wants God to explain to him how and why all these sorrows have come into his life. God does come to Job, but instead of answering Job's questions, God has questions of his own to ask Job. Verses 8 to 11 tell us how God created the sea. The point of God's questions are to point out to Job that God has far more wisdom and vision than does Job. We, like Job, have many questions about our daily life and what seems to be the unfairness of life. Like Job, we don't have all the answers, so we must place our faith in God, not man or logic. Today's Psalm 107 verses 23 to 31, we are told of the many dangers that can arise while sailing on the ocean. The theme remains constant. There are events that come into your life that proves you are not in total control of your life. Again, prayer will give you peace and point you to the resolution of the problem. We now see the apostles facing the same problem. They now question themselves about the resolution. "Teacher, do you not care if we perish?" Their words were more of a criticism than a call for help. How easy it is for us to complain and criticize God for not coming to our aid, rather than asking for his help and then trusting him to answer our prayers. These words of the disciples occur only in Mark and show the disciples' failure to understand Jesus. We demonstrate our lack of understanding when we feel that God isn't listening to our prayers. Instead of accusing God, we should pray for his help, and wait for his timing. We must pray without ceasing, in every occurrence and employment of our lives, that prayer which is rather a habit of lifting up the heart to God, as in a constant communication with him. Saint Elizabeth Ann Seton.